Welcome back to the Takeout. It takes quite a bit to stun me. This article from the New York Times did. It reveals a failed U.S. military operation in North Korea and a series of mistakes and shortcomings that led to the deaths, it reports, of unarmed civilians as part of this mission. The piece titled, How a Top Secret SEAL Team 6 Mission into North Korea Fell Apart. That article, we learn about this Operation 2019, greenlit by President Trump, but hidden for years from Congress and the public. Until now. New York Times national correspondent and co-author of this article, Dave Phillips, joins me now. Dave, I know it's difficult to summarize everything, but give my audience, if you could, the top lines of what this mission was intended to do and how, bit by bit, it fell apart.
Sure. The goal was to plant a newly developed listening device, basically a bug, on the shore in North Korea. And the way that the United States was going to do that was by sneaking a nuclear powered sub right up to the coast and then deploying two small mini subs packed with a small team of Navy SEALs. Those Navy SEALs would go to the beach, go on shore, and plant the bug. But when they got to the shore, which they thought was going to be empty because it was the dead of winter and the dead of night, they encountered an unexpected boat. And not knowing whether it was a security patrol or whether they'd been spotted, they opened fire and they killed everyone on that boat.
What kind of listening device, if you know or can explain, was involved? Something, I imagine, larger than a bug that would fit inside a telephone. I'm being slightly facetious, but I'm trying to get a visual picture, if possible.
Yeah, there's a lot that we've intentionally withheld from this story because there are things that the United States may need to use again that we don't want to say too much about. But I can tell you that the goal was this was in 2019, right in the middle of high level talks between Kim Jong un and President Trump about denuclearization. And so the goal was to find out what the thinking of this, really this guy that we didn't know much about who had nuclear weapons, what he was going to do and what he was talking about with his officials. And so they wanted to listen in.
And President Trump, as I read the article, approved this right up until the last moment, correct?
Yeah, that's right. With any mission that is this risky, I mean, if you think about the risk involved here, yes, there's a potential gain. You might learn what your adversary is talking about and thinking, but there's a potential risk. You put SEALs on the ground and someone could get captured, someone could get wounded, and that could cause a hostage situation or it could cause, elevating hostilities that, down the road might lead to nuclear war. So that has to be signed off at the very highest levels. And he gave the final green light go ahead right before the nuclear power sub slipped under the ocean.
And what went wrong as they have looked back at the after action on this?
Well, it seems like it was a bunch of small events that led up to a decision that they had to make that ended up with them opening fire. When these mini subs came into the bay, and these things are about the size of like a killer whale, they were expecting to see no one on the shore, and they missed that there was a small boat nearby. Um, when they got the shore team to the shore, the mini subs repositioned so that they were prepared to exit again. And that repositioning may have attracted this little fishing boat. Yeah, about the size of the one you're showing now, an open to hold boat that had a few people on it. That boat seemed to be coming towards the area where the subs were and the SEALs on the beach. You have to imagine you're in the dark, you're looking out at a dark ocean where there's a boat flashing flashlights, and you don't know exactly where your mini sub was. But it appeared to them from the beach that the mini subs were right under where this boat was. And they didn't know if the boat was security forces or just some civilians out fishing at night. And so they knew if we're discovered, we're really out of luck here. And one of the senior SEALs made the decision to open fire.
And very, very quickly, Dave, they had, under the rules of engagement, pre-authorization to do precisely what they did.
That's right. And so even though it turns out that the people that they killed, by all the evidence, appear just to have been fishermen, um, that's allowed in these very high stakes missions by U.S. military rules.
And Congress was not told.
That's right. There's rules in place that there's some gray area in it, but generally the expectation is big deal stuff like this is going to be told to a small group of leadership in the intelligence committees. And those committees were never told by the Trump administration. In fact, it wasn't until Biden came in and learned about this mission and said, "What the heck?" that they were finally told.
Dave Phillips, New York Times. Amazing reporting. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it very, very much.